Leftists everywhere are losing it over the offer. A Washington Post columnist saying this, quote, I am frightened by the impact on society and politics if Elon Musk acquires Twitter. He seems to believe that on social media, anything goes. For democracy to survive, we need more content moderation, not less. All right, Dana, I'm going to start with you. Okay, so Zuckerberg says that this is not about money. He believes Twitter should be the open market square and open source. And he says it's important literally to the future of civilization.
You mean Elon Musk, not Zuckerberg?
Yeah, right. Elon Musk.
Although Mark Zuckerberg might agree. I don't know.
And the follow-up is Zuckerberg, who doesn't agree. But let's talk about Musk.
I do love the meltdown of everybody. It's interesting to me that for so many years, the liberals, and they had a good point. They said that they were for free speech and the conservatives weren't. And now everything is flipped around. And now all of a sudden, when you have somebody say, we actually should allow more speech and allow everybody to be on the platform, they're thinking, no, we need more control. And I also think it's really funny that so many people believe that the government could do this better than the private sector. That will not actually happen. I've never, I guess, this is like the first sort of hostile takeover that I've ever really been interested in and watched very closely. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I do think it's interesting. I wish we could be a fly on the wall as the employees are meeting, because last week they had to have a day of rest just because Elon Musk might have taken a board seat and he didn't. Yes. So I don't know what the kind of sort of like vacation situation they're going to have after today's meeting.
You know, Musk, Greg, did take a shot at Zuckerberg when asked about speech platforms like Twitter being controlled by one person. And then they made the reference to Zuckerberg with Facebook and then Instagram and WhatsApp. So it seems like Musk really has it in for Zuckerberg, and he's not happy with what Zuckerberg did.
I don't care about that much. I'm interested in this new phrase, content moderation, because it sounds really good. We moderate content here all the time. Makes total sense.
Come on.
Except when, Geraldo's on, then it just all goes to hell. But it's a euphemism for censorship.
Yep, right.
And the thing is what scares Max Boot and what scares CNN is the fact that they might have to present the other side to their perspective, and that's twice the work. And they don't want to do it. It's not about Musk. Musk isn't going to bury something like a laptop. He's going to unearth the other potential counterpoints. But what you said, hostile takeover, it is actually, he's undertaking, this is what makes him an American and a global treasure. He's undertaking a hostile takeover of a drug cartel, because Twitter is the drug that all journalists are addicted to, right? The drug is manipulating stories, narratives to create discontent and division, and they can't get enough of it. And that's why they're so upset that they're going to lose this drug. Now might be in charge of the distribution of the narcotic, and you have to wonder, will the press quit the drug because now he's selling it? I don't think so. And this is why the purchase we were talking about the other day is more important than the purchases of Washington Post, or if you were to buy CNN, no one will, or any other news outlet, because Twitter is above that. They're the strings that control the puppets, the journalists, right? Twitter may not be bigger than Facebook or Instagram, but it controls the people you want to control. It controls the media puppetry. He's now possibly the puppet master, and he can decide how to fix things, which I think will be his first thing, is to cancel out the bias by increasing more counter narratives for that.
Okay, Brian, the Wall Street Journal says that they are so upset at Twitter that they are weighing a poison pill, which is selling additional shares at a discount so that people can get a bigger percentage of the company. I mean, they really are upset about this.
What happened over the weekend between Musk and that board is unbelievable. Also, just for the record, in case you do your research, after I do Gutfeld show, I do call in for a day of rest.
Yes, and reflect.
True. And I ask myself, why did I do that show?
We have to bathe.
I need a rest right now.
Right, okay. A couple of things come to mind. I think I love, when you watch things happen in Washington, you know exactly what they're going to do. You can see this game being played out. We take our sides and we stand where we stand. I don't know what Elon Musk is going to do. It's so good to see somebody that is ahead of everybody. And I'm willing to say, so much smarter than me, so much more. I mean, I'm going, he's our Edison. This is our Thomas Edison. This is our Da Vinci of our generation. So let him go. I do believe he has a plan B. This is something we haven't discussed. But I think this is it. When he got Starlink, and he put it in
Yes.
Ukraine.
Yes.
And he saw that he affected the outcome of a war. He said, I have all the money in the world. I'm already making a difference in space and on the ground in electric cars. I believe that I could change free speech, not for Trump and not for Biden, but for the country. So that's what he's about. I believe that's the big picture.
Yeah, he's all about creating a blueprint and not following one. And, you know, in that regard, what about the Tesla shareholders? Are they now worried? They're saying that their guy is now, you know, getting involved in ultimately politics because free speech is all about saying, I believe in the First Amendment and I'm going to let everybody talk. That means the left is coming after you.
But isn't it interesting that the 5 people at this table all are fans of Elon Musk? I don't think that I overstate
all of us are.
that.
I am.
It's an asset to the country.
So look at the bridge of the scope of ideology and philosophy that entails. So the good news from Twitter's point of view is that he values the company over $40 billion. So everyone's going to get rich. The bad news is that he says that it needs to be transformed. You know, I don't know what needs to be transformed, except that when Trump got thrown off, I lost 50,000 followers. How did
lost more.
How did that happen?
150.
So at Geraldo Rivera, by the way, at Geraldo Rivera.
Shame. It's a lot of bots.
But listen, I trust Elon Musk. I trust him. Period. I trust him.
Everyone at this table
I would
does,
trust him
right?
to be president of the United States.
But you're the big investor, but don't you think that Elon Musk blew up the room? He blew up and said, "This nobody tweets. Barack Obama doesn't tweet. These guys don't tweet. So all the biggest users aren't using it." He said it's a terrible platform.
It doesn't matter.
Without Musk, it's not worth anything. So he blew up the place. If he doesn't buy it, it's in tatters.
If they don't use it, it's their disadvantage.
But I got to tell you one more thing. The Saudi prince, Al-Walid bin Tabal Al Saud, is one of Twitter's largest shareholders. He's trying to make an offer to buy it because he believes that Musk, with electric cars, is undercutting the power of Saudi oil.
That's interesting.
I mean, there are so many levels to this as you peel
Anyone
back the
Saudi
onion.
doesn't like, I like.
Do you know what the deadline is for the deal, right?
What is it?
420. You know what the price he offered was
Light up,
540.
light up, Greg. Light up.
All right,
Yeah.
ahead.
We're gonna have a special next
Can I
time.
bring up one more thing?
Yes, go right
Tom
ahead.
Brady has the best sense of humor. He said, "Hey, Elon, if you buy this thing, can you get rid of my combine photo? Because this is the most sought-after photo." That's Tom Brady at 22. He obviously met a supermodel, got a tan, and completed a bunch of passes since
All right,
that time.
thank you for that.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.